Hey, how you guys doing?
How's it going out there?
Sessel here,
Hello.
Jason, and Survivor Series happened tonight. Welcome to Wrestling Figure 4. So what do you think?
Well,
Just ended.
it just ended. We got done watching The Undertaker do his finale, I guess, his swan song and all that. It was a brief little, description with him talking and all that. Seen a lot of the guys who he has fought with over the years,
All right, well, let's save it.
All right.
I guess, if you want to, right?
We can if you want.
It was at the end. Let's go in order. All right, so tonight the Survivor Series happened, and it really, I guess everybody knew going into it, it wasn't much to talk about.
Right. There was no real setups with stories and stuff.
It never is in a year.
Brand versus brand.
Yeah.
The basic kind of stuff and all that.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like super in-depth with, to get you super involved because it just didn't have that build-up.
That network's $9.99 a month.
If you want to spend it.
What, you paid $50 for this one?
Not one bit. Not 50 cents.
I don't know. I think a lot of people.
Well,
$10.
everybody has their...
Okay, well,
Spend their
anyway,
money
the
any way they
pre-show, there was a battle royal.
Yeah, it was a mixture of the Raw and the SmackDown guys, I believe it was. And, you saw many familiar faces. Chad Gable, The Hurt Business had some guys in there, Miz and Morrison. Who else was in there? There was also Titus O'Neil, I think, Rey Mysterio and his son, Kalisto. I know I'm missing a few. Do you recall which ones there were? Oh, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was quite a few and all that.
I gotta be honest with you.
It was
pretty much everybody else.
Anybody who didn't have a actual little thing going on for a title or...
Yeah, I mean, what was the point? This wasn't for anything. The winner was The Miz.
Yeah, he
already
got
has
it
the
in
money
the
in
end.
the bank. Is this just all about Miz and Mrs., you think?
I think it's
You think he's gonna win the belt?
I think
come
it's
season finale.
I think it's just going to be. It was mostly just to push the Miz, because he is the Money in the Bank guy.
And the show's on right now.
Yeah, and they're pushing that on USA and all that. So it was just a push for him, for the moment he goes in and steals the championship away from more than likely Drew McIntyre.
You see a Randy Orton thing for him too in the future, maybe a week or two there.
Maybe. Well, no, I could see them trying to push it to like a WrestleMania or just before it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
It wouldn't shock me.
Be a match, and he's gonna not win like Damian Sandow or John Cena, or is he going to be an opportunist? I mean, he's going to be an opportunist, right?
I think it'll be an opportunist. I don't think anybody's going to get as screwed over as Damian Sandow did and all that stuff.
No, sure.
I could see Drew McIntyre being someone willing to put somebody over, because it's not going to hurt him one bit. Roman Reigns, I don't see that. I see him more being like a John Cena and wouldn't lie down for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
McIntyre, I see him as a totally different kind of wrestler. He's one who's always willing to be a team player, always willing to give to the story and all that, not just succumb to what his legacy is and all that, like a few of the guys I think are in that company. So, I mean, I can see Miz getting that title shot because I know he's probably going to retire pretty soon himself.
Oh yeah, no, there's talks about that. That's also the reason why he's getting the push. I think he was pushing for it himself just because he wants to retire soon. Which, I get it.
So be it.
mean,
They'll find other people to take
It
his
is what it
spot.
is. I think Mike Mizanin is more of an actor anyway, right? I don't really.
Yeah,
I
yeah. He
think
seems
he's
to be.
wanting
He wants
something
to fall
that's-
that way and get out of this.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that pans out for him.
Well, all right.
Especially
Well, I mean,
in the later months.
exactly. I mean, he won the battle royal. The other thing that happened on the pre-show was gobbledygooker.
Oh yes.
So you like that? You liking the gobbledygooker?
the wonderful 24/7.
Gobbledygooker pins our truth.
So we did see the gobbledygooker end up beating our truth. Defeating him from his 46th, 47th reign as the
Just
champion.
another reason to give him another notch. So gobbledygooker gets beaten by the ninjas. And
Yeah.
then the ninjas gets pinned by our truth. By the ninja referee. I didn't even know. Oh, it was just a referee with a face mask.
Yeah,
And I'm like, why is this referee wearing a face mask in the back?
Yeah, and
There was a ninja as the referee.
had to tell him. Yeah, I had to tell him and go. No, he was an actual one of the ninjas. That's why he was with Akira Tozawa. But hey, It's an easy mistake. You never know. But so we had that happen. So 3 title changes in that little segment of maybe 5 minutes.
Get it out of the way so there's no
Yeah.
interruptions in the show, I suppose.
The comedy act was done and over with.
All right. Well, anyway, the event starts.
Yeah. Let's see. The very first match wasn't a women's match. That
Yeah.
was the one that went after it.
Yeah.
I believe it was the New Day versus the Street Profits, wasn't it?
I was
Yeah.
wondering if you were going to
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah,
But
it's so funny. All right, yeah, so the New Day comes out, and it's New Day versus Street Profits, champion versus champion.
yeah,
Pretty much what we expect from a match like this. A lot of high spots.
yeah, a lot of back and forth, a lot of one-upsmanship, trying to get on one another since they're both tag team champions of their specific brands and all that. It went back and forth. New Day started with the advantage, then the Street Profits managed to get theirs. Like he said, there was a lot of high spots, whether it's the moves that they like to do against their opponents. You later see the Street Profits try and do the New Day's finishing maneuver, get thrown out of that. They try to do it on the Street Profits. It gets countered. And basically, in the end, the Street Profits basically do their version of the Street Sweeper that you would see with the neck breaker off of the shoulders, sort of like Legion of Doom stylish, and they get the pin over the New Day.
Now, the New Day came out in these outfits.
Yeah, the New Day is apparently a special pack thing for the Xbox game Gears 5. So if that's a game that you like and you like the New Day, it'll be Christmas every day for you.
I thought it looked all right. I liked the trombone. I liked Xavier's trombone.
Oh.
It kind of had a buzz, so it looked like a weapon.
Yeah, a little chainsaw on
It
there.
was very Mad Max. It was cool. Don't know how cool the gear is. What's the game?
It's Gears of War is what
Okay,
it comes
you're
from.
familiar.
This one, yeah, it's the 5th one
I mean,
in
I
the
know the
series.
franchise, but I've never played any.
Yeah, I've never really played it, but it's the basic kind of, you can do co-op with it, multiplayer, you can play story and all that. It's Marines versus the aliens and stuff like that. It's
Okay,
typical
so
stuff
it's
that
like-
you've seen in many
I
other
get it.
games before.
Space Marines.
Not, it's not the first time you've seen it, won't be the last.
Also, the New Day's trunks I pointed out was like a Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, on
It
Kofi
was like the
Kingston's,
bill,
yeah.
on both actually.
Oh, was
They
it on
had
both of them?
Schoolhouse
Oh,
Rock,
okay,
but-
didn't notice it on
So that was pretty
Xavier.
cool. It was kind of hard to notice, but
Yeah, it's a good catch on that.
All right, cool. So what was the second match?
I believe that one was the Oscar Banks one?
I don't think
Or-
that was number 2.
What was number 2?
I think number 2 was the Raw match. Raw versus SmackDown.
Was it the
think
5-on-5?
it was, yeah.
Was it with the okay?
Yeah.
I can,
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
yeah,
Just trying to remember a show we just watched.
yeah. It tells you
You know.
tells you a lot.
Well, anyway, let's go with that. It's the Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, you had Braun Strowman, AJ, Matt Riddle,
It's
Sheamus, whatever. He's Matt Riddle to me. Sheamus, and then the last guy was
AJ?
no, I said
Oh,
AJ.
you said AJ.
Braun
AJ
Strowman,
and Shaman and Keith Lee.
Keith Lee. Oh,
Yeah.
how could I forget Keith Lee? He's actually a really good.
How
wrestler.
could you forget Keith Lee?
I know. I'd bask in his glory anytime.
Yeah, well, you can't bask in much of it. He's covered up.
Yeah, and then they were
I'm
going.
surprised they took the shirts off. We were taking bets as to who was going to take off their shirts.
Yeah, so they were going against SmackDown's group that had Jey Uso, Otis, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and again, I keep forgetting.
I love this. This is hilarious.
The fifth guy, yeah. What can I say?
We didn't even get started.
Oh, it's Kevin Owens.
It was Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
All right.
No basking in that.
I liked Kevin and Otis together.
They might be
I
an
thought they
inter-
looked
that
good.
might be an
Maybe it was
interesting
the
match.
matching SmackDown shirts, but still.
Yeah.
Kevin is always in a shirt, so the SmackDown shirt didn't look too weird on him.
No, it's pretty average for him and all that. But what you end up seeing is the match starts. There's a little bit going on, and then Seth Rollins wants to come in for a tag. He basically just drops to his knees, wants to sacrifice himself to Sheamus. Sheamus obliges, puts a boot
That
right
was
in his
pretty
face.
much one of the only highlights of the match to speak of as far as the character thing goes.
Yeah.
And what's your interpretation of this?
He didn't really want to be there in that match.
Real life things going on though, huh? You think
Yeah.
something with the pregnancy?
Probably, well, it's been rumored that he wants to take some time off, which is fine.
They were all dogging him after he lost. He rolled out of the ring. They're like,
Yeah.
like he was worthless anyway. or
Yeah,
something.
they were
It
talking-
didn't
yeah.
matter anyway.
Kevin Owens told him he
I
sucked.
thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. So it ended up being 5-on-4. It went back, typical, back and forth,
Yeah, I
tags.
mean, pretty much it was Team Raw as a whole won.
Yeah, they
predicted that.
They slowly just started chopping down people one at a time. And then, was it Jey Uso was the last one standing. He tries to
Yeah.
prove himself, to his cousin. And, eventually gets beat. And Raw wins. And they all actually sort of celebrated with one another.
Yeah, camaraderie.
And
with
the
everybody.
funny thing was seeing Sheamus and Strowman sort of like push each other, and AJ starts
And
to
then,
get nervous, and they're just like, we're just joking, and they give a big hug, and AJ's hugging Riddle from around the neck.
They should form, that whole group should form like their version of AEW's Chris Jericho's group.
Oh, the Inner Circle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's silly.
It'd
won't
be
happen.
funny. Yeah, and you only got to see the
They got their
bodyguard.
Wardlow and everything.
Yeah, the
You
bodyguard.
He didn't speak though tonight.
No,
spoke on SmackDown.
He did pull AJ out at one point when he thought he was
Well,
gonna get
yeah, I
injured,
guess,
so
that was predictable.
that
We
was
knew that
one
gonna
little
happen.
one little thing with him. So
It was funny though on SmackDown how he finally spoke and he's just like, I didn't know you could talk. You never have.
yeah,
Anyway.
such goofy comedy they got
All
sometimes.
right, well, Team Raw wins
Yeah.
as a whole. So whoever won that bet.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, then I think we get into Asuka, right?
Yeah, it was Asuka and Sasha Banks.
Or was it? No, it was Sami Zayn.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay, well,
All right, Sami Zayn. he had a match.
yeah, he came out looking all militant with his little olive green pants and his little army hat, and
I feel sorry for Sammy. I like Sammy.
yeah, and
El
then
Shaderico is better.
yeah, and you see the Hurt Business coming out, everybody all dressed in black with their
I like
gold
this.
ties.
I like this. I think the Hurt Business looks very good. I think they look like a legit group. All
well,
right, I
at least
really
they
do.
dress nice.
Well, I mean, but I just all those characters just make sense to be together personality-wise.
Yeah, because
Bobby
individual.
Lashley and MVP and Shelton Benjamin, they're all kind of like they have this kind of elite,
Yeah, 'cause-
personality.
Because individually, the company couldn't come up with anything for them. I mean, look at
That
at
is
how-
sad. I mean,
look
how
at
they
it
used
was.
Bobby Lashley was very sad with him and Lana, especially considering where he came from with Impact.
And then the story with his sisters and all that when he was dealing with Sami Zayn in the first place.
But it does make sense that they're together now because of how they were all treated.
Yeah,
With
I
their
mean,
comebacks.
Cedric
Even
and his,
Shelton Benjamin and MVP, the comebacks were shit.
Cedric and his little janitor outfit that nobody
Mhm.
cared about.
Yeah, it was
that.
horrible.
And,
It was horrible. So I like this faction. I like them together.
we'll see how long they stick around.
And Bobby
maybe,
did win.
Maybe it's not doing the 2 weeks, so it'll probably be a 2 month, and then they'll split 'em up.
Bobby's way better than like getting saunas with Lana. Saunas with Lana.
Yeah, or
It was just
or at dinner in a restaurant or wherever.
it was silly. It was
Yeah.
silly.
Basically, this match, it was typical Sami Zayn arguing, complaining, trying to get disqualified by getting the Hurt Business to touch him, all this. Does a goofy Pratt trip, a la Chevy Chase. It felt like to me, and then he gets put in the ring, and he gets put in the what do they call it, the hurt lock or something.
Yeah.
I guess the full Nelson basically taps out, and it's over. Fortunately for everyone.
Yeah, there we go.
So now we can go on to that.
Bobby stays strong and Sammy stays Sammy.
Yeah. Then we can get on to
That Asuka was next.
the Asuka.
Are you sure?
Not totally.
Are you positive? Are you positive we saw that match tonight?
I don't know.
This was actually one of the better matches.
Yeah, the
This
ladies
had some good back and forth.
The ladies went back and forth. It made me think of a lot of the matches the ladies had back in the NXT days and all that stuff. You know.
Sure.
You know, it was
Makes sense to be these two having a clinic up there.
back and forth with maneuvers, counters, trying to put each other in their finishing maneuvers. Not once, not twice, but at least 3 times, which shows that they were really trying to win this match. It just wasn't some kind of like filler or take up time spot. They were actually got there fighting, trying to prove which one was better. I mean, it went back and forth. There were some times it went outside, but most of it seemed to be inside the squared circle, so that was a really good thing. I actually enjoyed the match.
Yeah, Sasha goes over, which makes sense. She's kind of the one with the strong build right now.
Yeah, there was a lot of pin attempts, and then she ended up coming up on top with like a almost like a victory roll type.
Yeah, Asuka really don't
Capture.
have anything. Well, you go on the Raw side, and a lot of it is kind of directed towards Nia and Shayna in the tag right now with Lana.
Yeah.
There's not really much focus on Asuka right now, but I'm sure something will start up tomorrow night since
Yeah.
this is all over with now.
It's a shame. Hopefully.
These are this card. It's like what a lot of people are saying. This event has become a distraction.
Yeah, it's
Just because they
need
made
for
it
it.
the brand versus brand thing, which you never needed that.
Yeah, I mean, Survivor Series, I think they only did it just to do it because it's something that's been around for so long.
I mean, there should be a Raw Survivor Series match and a SmackDown Survivor Series match. 2 championship matches. It's just
Yeah.
this brand versus champion brand when no one's ever going. But it's not for a belt, so even the winner isn't really.
Right.
It doesn't. I mean,
If it's champion versus champion, you might as well just leave that for Clash of Champions.
and there was nothing involved in this match other than just a fine match.
Yeah.
It was
one of the
no
better
story,
matches
no
of the
angles,
night.
No nothing happened with that. So, all right, Sasha goes over, and that's all.
What was the next match after that one?
I'm going to say we're at the women's SmackDown match now, right?
It should.
Survivor Series match.
I believe you're right.
And it was just the champion matches and the 2 Survivor Series matches, wasn't it? Was there a grudge match?
No, I mean, the tag. You had the 2 tag. You had all the champions facing each other. You
Again,
had rumbles.
We didn't smoke
and-
anything.
No.
We just legit.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing stuck, folks. All right, now it's the women's Survivor Series match. So we got Team Raw versus Team SmackDown.
Right.
With their branded shirts. No branded shirts on this one.
No.
The girls didn't come out with shirts, which was nice.
No, they came out with the respective colors and the
Because
basic
those
outfits
shirts
they
with
have.
the USA and the Fox logos, that's just God. It's horrible.
rather tacky.
And of course, Miz, going back to that Battle Royal, he wrestled in his Raw shirt.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think when they released figures with those shirts, he only released a couple of them. I think Miz was one of them that had the Raw shirt from back 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that guy never takes his shirt off. He is company, corporate boy.
What is he hiding? Is he hiding a dad bod or something? I don't know. Who
No,
knows?
he's just Team Network.
But anyway, we'll get on with the women's Survivor Series one.
All right.
They
You had
on the
Shayna
Raw,
and you had Nia on the Raw with Lana and
Lacey Evans, and the last one
Ruby.
was Ruby. No, it wasn't Ruby.
no, that was
she was on
I'm sorry.
SmackDown. It would have been.
It was Lacey Evans, and it was
no, it wasn't Natalia. She was on SmackDown too.
on the other side it was Bailey, and it was Ruby Riott.
Bailey, Ruby Riott. You had
Natalia,
and also had Liv Morgan,
Liv Morgan. Mm-hmm.
and we know there's the other 2, but
That was so funny.
Yeah.
It was Bianca Belair too.
oh, Bianca Belair,
So,
correct?
yeah.
That would be correct for the SmackDown.
Yeah, the SmackDown.
The Raw one, I'm sure it'll come to us.
The Raw, like I said, there's not much effort being put into Raw.
No, I mean
in general.
it was basic like any other Survivor Series match. The switch-ins, everybody's doing their spots, showing their abilities. So on Raw side, they kept yelling at Lana not to
Right.
tag
Well,
in.
that's just the thing. This match actually did have a story. I mean, it didn't involve the Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler, and Lana. What happened
Yeah.
last week with the tag match, Lana insisting on a tag match on Raw, and Shayna and Nia explicitly telling her not to tag in, not to be involved, and she did.
Peyton Royce.
So Peyton Royce was the one. How can I forget Peyton?
I know.
She had new hair tonight. It was like purple.
She looked very stunning.
She looked very
Shame
nice.
on us.
I like Peyton. That's so funny. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically, you know, it was back and forth. Them
Peyton was the one. That's right. Peyton beat Bailey.
right.
So that was kind of a good rub for Peyton.
Yeah, it shows a
Yeah,
good
because
strong
Bailey
thing
really
for
wasn't
her.
involved in this match. It was kind of like she
Not
was
a
one of
whole
the
lot.
first ones to go.
Yeah, she was out quick, and
Yeah.
Lana was.
But Lana
left-
hung out.
She was
She was standing there like outside.
she was bullied and pushed down to the steps
she
when
stood on the
when she
steps.
slapped, you know, she tagged herself in to get into the match, and they yelled at her, and so she was for the rest of the match standing on, you know, the stairs, you know, upset about not being in. So it was back and forth, and slowly each one got taken out until it finally came down to Nia Jax, Bianca Belair. They end up fighting outside. Nia Jax tries to charge Bianca, gets tossed over the rail, and then by that time the referees count 8, 9. Bianca misses the 10. They both get disqualified by countout, and your sole survivor was Lana, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's how they got it. They're going there. And you said that too. You said that they have to do something with Lana.
You would think, yeah, it was just, I mean, if you're doing a story, you got to play it one of two ways. You either completely destroy her by constantly, you know, the entire Raw team wins and she had nothing to do with it, and then they all rub it in her face and make her feel like garbage, or you have the entire team get nailed and stuck, and then the person who is the constant bully to her is the one who gets humiliated, and she comes out on top, and she doesn't even have to really do anything to be, you know.
It does make
grandstand.
sense for Lana's character, how she won. The payoff was great. It was
Right,
satisfying.
and you see Nia Jax.
One of the
even more
highlights
furious.
of the show tonight was just Lana winning.
Yeah, and her
this match
excitement,
and the way she did it.
and how there are people in the backgrounds that you could see in the monitors all
Because it was kind of the classic scenario how they got rid of Shayna by the DQ. How else were they going to get rid of the monster?
Right,
And then Nia with kind of clumsiness. You know.
right. I mean, Bianca Belair, she's a great athlete, you know, stuff like that. But to have to go and
Bianca
fight
was
those
one of the
two,
ones. She had the strongest showing in the ring though tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So you know that her star is still. You know, she's getting pushed on the SmackDown side of things. Her and Shayna will probably. Have
yeah, I
Or
didn't.
not Shayna, her and Sasha.
Yeah, when it came to that, I didn't expect for Baszler to be DQ'd by the way it was. I figured there would be some kind of, you know, fluke pin or whatever, and then with the Nia Jax, maybe a disqualification or count out, some kind of thing, you know, like that. Or even if she did beat Nia, she would be so beat up that Lana would have it sort of easy, and, you know, it would also be like some kind of roll up or a sunset flip or, you know, some kind of crucifix pin that, you know, you see Bianca Belair looking super strong, and then in the end, she ends up getting pinned by, you know, Lana, which all of them, since they all were laughing at her, even the SmackDown groups, you saw Bailey do it, they were all laughing at her, and that she just gets the last laugh on all of them, which, you know, is sort of fun to watch that kind of, you know, story pan out.
What was a better moment for you, Lana winning or the gobbledygooker getting tempted by the seeds? The old Roadrunner trick.
The Acme seeds piled there and all that stuff. Oh, I'll give it to Lana just by a feather.
I wonder if it was Hector.
No, I don't think Hector can move like that anymore.
To think back in the day when that egg hatched, wasn't that supposed to be Ric Flair? Or
I think that was the rumor. So, but
anyway, I'm sure.
Good
Rick
thing
looks
for
back
Rick.
on it. It's like,
I'm
you know, I dodged a few bullets there.
I'm glad I didn't go that far.
Okay, what they wanted to do in WCW before he came to WWF, they wanted him to cut his hair and be some kind of. You remember? Oh man.
No, I don't think I ever heard
They
that.
wanted him to drop the Nature Boy, and they wanted him to be like something really dumb. I can't remember.
It's terrible.
Oh, it was horrible though. You need to go look that up.
It's a good thing when guys refuse to do certain gimmicks.
Oh, and it was a terrible gimmick. I
Yeah.
assure you. I think that's why he came into the WWF with short hair. Because
It was slightly short.
They were going to do it, and then just the last second he took the belt and he's like, "Screw you guys!
I'm gonna grow my hair out.
I'm going north."
Yeah. So,
All right, cool. So we're at the main event.
Yeah,
We got Roman and Drew.
yes, it's Roman and
Okay,
Drew.
well, now there was a segment. I forgot when that was.
Yeah.
But Roman shunned Jay for losing.
Yeah, he blamed him
So
for
he's like, "You're out of the
losing.
table."
He's not strong.
So we got to point that out before.
Yeah,
the last
that was
match.
pretty much a shaming moment. He shoot off his twin brother. You don't need to be here, but I'm going to shun him a little more.
Mhm. So
You know,
we
you
had that
failed.
moment.
So that had happened probably just before the previous event with ladies, I believe.
Right.
But then we get to the main event, and they came out.
Good match.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was
Again,
back and
this one, the
forth.
Sasha Banks Asuka match and this match were the two solid matches. So it was nice that the two championship matches were the highlights of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's-
But I mean, what else did you really have? They kind of had to be.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though you have the Undertaker segment at the very end, people, you gotta have some good wrestling.
You gotta have
Some good matches.
You gotta have something.
You gotta have something that makes sense after you put the belt on Drew. Why are we having
True.
this match as opposed to the Randy Orton match? Because it's not like belts were on the line.
Yeah, you're correct. It was
But I think they
champion
wanted
versus
to feature
champ.
maybe, each brand's, future. Or not future, but you know what I mean, a hot commodity.
Right.
I mean, Randy is still, Randy, but, I think in a matter like this, they wanted to feature the two kind of stud characters on each brand.
Right. And
Yeah, because there's a lot of similarities in the physique and the appearance.
yeah, they have the height
These
and
two.
muscle structure, and
Yeah, right.
they've got good movesets and stuff. So yeah, this match did go off. It went. It was another one, back and forth, each trying to get the other, get an advantage. An occasional moment outside, but it was you see Roman Reigns on multiple attempts try and do his Superman punch. You got to see Drew McIntyre actually hit the Future Shock DDT, or double arm DDT, as a lot of people would know it.
Talk about that turnabout submission. He turns the move into a submission hold. That was
Oh yeah, that was a really excellent one. After an attempted Claymore by him, he got hit with a Superman punch, and Roman's gonna go in. He does his shout. He's gonna do the spear, and Drew McIntyre managed to sort of sidestep, and what almost looked like he was gonna do a small package type maneuver. He ended up rolling him, getting him in a leg scissors, and then slapping him into a Kimura lock, an MMA move, which is basically a bending of the arm and elbow backwards towards the back, and was playing the submission move onto him.
I wonder if he's going to start adopting that, because McIntyre really don't have too many submission holds in his repertoire.
Not
It's
too
kind of like
many
what
that I know
Undertaker
of.
ended up doing.
Yeah,
you know.
if you come up with one, I mean something with
Just
Drew.
one really good one's all you need.
If I was a person like Drew McIntyre, I would think about something like the Texas Cloverleaf, because of his strength and the length of his arms and his
I
height.
always like that move.
Yeah, it's a classic
Yeah.
move. Not many people use it.
Finlay did that.
He does it. Nick Aldis is a guy
And
who
Malenko
uses
did
that,
it.
and Dean Malenko was the
Yeah.
first to really use that
Oh,
move
was he?
and populate it.
So, Jay comes out.
Comes out,
pretty much
interferes.
you kind of knew this was going to happen from the foreshadowing with them shunning him. He needs to prove himself.
Right.
You don't know where he's going to side. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, is he going to turn on Roman? But it wasn't really left to much doubt. It kind of like immediately he just started helping Roman.
Yeah, he came in after McIntyre hit a Claymore kick on Roman. He comes out, interferes, and of course, when Roman gets hit with the Claymore kick, the referee gets knocked in the head, of course. So there can't be a pin. There's the distraction. Roman decides to do the classic heel thing and crack him in between the legs, causing a chance to hit him with a guillotine lock. A second ref comes out. He passes out, ends by submission, knockout, and Roman is your winner, where he ends up walking up the ramp. He sees Jay. They hug. He forgives him because he righted
Back
him
and
wrong.
forth. He's going to be shunned so many times.
It's going to go up and down, up and down. And I'm pretty much sure that there's going to be a point where Jay and his brother is going to end up screwing Roman and causing him that title.
And it's going to go forever.
At,
Roman's
like-
going to face the Rock at WrestleMania, and you won't see the Jay fall out and end until like SummerSlam.
I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't end up doing this like at WrestleMania, to have him get humiliated on the biggest stage.
You don't think it's going to be Roman and Rock, though?
I think
Wasn't that like a rumor, right?
That is a rumor that they want to do that.
But
But-
you know what? If they build this strong enough, they won't need that. If
Yeah,
that doesn't
they
happen,
could
because Rock,
actually
we
find
don't know
somebody.
what's going on with COVID with his movie schedule. Really.
Yeah, with all the stuff that's
I
going
suppose,
on,
right.
and so I mean, if I was the booker, I would let this play out over time. Sure, they could do the thing with The Rock, but it could be done before WrestleMania, like you said. How many movies is he gonna make this year?
Yeah, really. I mean, if you want
You know,
something,
so-
if you're building something so strong to where like it can be a WrestleMania match, then I don't see why Rock couldn't just come in at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you can have
But
it at
again,
the
it's
Royal
The
Rumble.
Rock. He might just want WrestleMania at this stage.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't know.
it really all depends. But if it was me booking, I would let this go all the way to WrestleMania, and that's where you have like the big moment happen. You know,
Well, I think
you
this
gotta-
title reign of Roman's is definitely going to go until WrestleMania at least. You know, I
Well-
would think, right?
I would do that, and I would have it be when it comes to the Royal Rumble. I would actually probably have the Fiend be the Rumble winner. That way,
Oh,
you
okay.
already set up a good, valid opponent who could be a threat to
But
Roman.
Fiend is Raw.
Is-
I guess
oh,
it doesn't
Fiend is
matter,
Raw.
But it
Oh,
doesn't
true.
matter. Winner of the Rumble
Okay,
is choice.
So I mean, it's true, and
It
it
doesn't
would be
matter.
a way you could.
But
set
I
them
do
over
think
if
they're
you wanted.
keeping Bray away from Roman. I don't think there's any hope of that happening before WrestleMania.
Who would you say would be a good contender?
A
you
good
know,
contender for
to win
Roman
to win
the Rumble?
to win that Rumble on SmackDown. Who would be a good person? What
I
you're
say-
gonna have AJ
I
Styles?
say if Drew McIntyre doesn't have the belt, then he wins, and you have the WrestleMania rematch.
Then who would you have be the winner beating Drew?
The Miz,
You'd have the Miz
and
going
then
there, and then
Randy and Edge at WrestleMania.
so
That's a hot rumor. So
well, I'm sure that would be a match, but neither one of them would be champ if you have Miz be the champion. Who's the
no,
Miz
I
gonna
mean
face?
Miz will beat McIntyre, and then Randy will beat Miz. Then it'll be Randy and
in one of
Edge, and
the
McIntyre and Roman for the
somewhere
SmackDown.
in a fast lane or whatever mishmash.
And then maybe
One that they
that'll
wanna
be
do.
maybe that it'll build up so slow to where that's the moment Jay turns on the big stage.
Yeah, it's a
And
possibility.
then you got Roman and Jay going all summer to SummerSlam, and you got McIntyre as the SmackDown champion,
Okay,
the Universal champion.
all right.
Because I definitely see McIntyre being both champions at some point. You
If they
know?
unificate it, it would be nice.
Even if they don't unificate
But-
it, I see him. I do see him being a Universal champion.
It's a possibility. I mean,
But, yeah, that's a
these
possibility.
dual type singles and tag champ things, I really dislike it a lot. I mean, if you're gonna
Sure.
if you want to do two tags, then you should do like in the old Crockett days where you had your main heavyweight title and then you had your lowercase title, like they had the U.S. tag
And the
championships
the
and stuff.
TV
you
was
know.
like weekly almost.
Right, you could have it something like that. One heavyweight champion. I mean, it's one
I like
company,
the TV
whether
belt
it's two brand or not.
dynamic. I like the TV belt dynamic. I like a championship where it's a time limit championship. Where
Yeah.
you don't beat the person in 10 or 15 minutes, then it's over.
Right.
Yeah, so
Those
you
are-
have
those
the
are great
time, you have the
classics.
clock and the skill.
And it's a
working
great
in
way
one
to
hand.
build a story between two guys,
Yeah.
especially if the guy loses by time limit draw. You can always build something on there, even if the guy doesn't want to face him again. You could always come up with some way of getting it happening again, and you use it at a pay-per-view event.
Mm-hmm.
But not many companies have television titles, which is a shame. It's a great
I mean, I feel
classic
the
way.
TNT title is like AEW's television belt more than its Intercontinental belt, but
True, I could see that because it's
Yeah.
always on TNT and stuff. Even though that sometimes they do it on the pay per view as well.
well, they did
It's
that
under,
with the
it's
TV belt.
it's understandable. Yeah, you can do
Sure.
that kind of stuff, and
Sure.
that's a good thing.
And also
I mean-
with Double A being affiliated with it with Cody being so attached to the belt so far.
Yeah, makes it a
You know, it
a
just
classic
comes off as
connection
more
to
of a
it.
TV
Yeah,
thing, but
but
all right,
hopefully
well,
we'll do that.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, Roman, you know,
He ends up winning,
he's
Strong.
the tribal chief, and he's going to stay strong. So.
and yeah, there might be another chance for McIntyre to get at Roman because he
Well,
he
you
looked
know,
like he was
didn't-
pretty ticked about.
It's one of those things where it's going to piss off a lot of people that there wasn't a clean finish.
Yeah,
But again, I don't think there needed to be a clean finish in this match.
nor
I
were
think
people in the
Roman
back
needed
wanting
to
one.
stay the strong heel, and he did. He cheated. That's heelish.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
That's the typical story.
And McIntyre looked strong by being screwed.
Yeah.
So I don't think you could have done really anything else that would have been better. I mean, you know, expecting Roman to go over clean just because of his position.
Yeah.
You don't.
I
need to
never-
do that to
I never really
McIntyre
expected
for
it
this.
anyway.
It has nothing to do with storylines. People are going to forget the results. We already forgot. All right, Undertaker.
Forgot what?
Yeah, exactly. So Undertaker, all his boys come out. We had his like behind the scenes club members. If anybody out there was wondering why like Rikishi and the Godwins and Savio Vega were out there, it's because he had kind of a clique himself back in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think Yokozuna was in it too, but he's gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
wow.
was too. He was the other member that wasn't there tonight. And then you have the Phineas connection with Midian.
Yeah, Phineas
So
was
Godwin,
actually Midian.
the Henry Godwin was a legit friend of Undertaker, still is, and part of the clique. The Phineas was a character associated with Undertaker when he was part of the not church. What do they call it?
It was like the ministry.
The
I believe,
corporate
the corporate
something.
ministry. I think
Corporate
it was.
ministry.
It was corporate
Okay,
ministry
I think
with
no,
the
you're
APA
right. It was corporate
and all that
ministry.
stuff. Yeah, so they were basically all backstage friends,
Yeah.
pals who drove up and down the roads together. Maybe knew each other for a good amount of time.
Kurt Angle was announced. He wasn't there.
Yeah,
We
that's
did
true.
have Kane come out last. You had Flair, Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
The Big Show, Savio
yeah.
Vega, like you said.
Yeah. And then
The Godfather.
They all just, the Godfather, he's part of the clique.
Yeah.
He's part of Undertaker's, I call it the clique, but it's not the clique, that's Shawn's.
Yeah,
It's some kind of.
but
I
Shawn was
forget.
a member.
I forget, Shawn
Oh.
had their clique.
Kevin Nash was also.
Oh no, that was the clique.
Yeah, it was the clique.
And
but
then
I'm saying they
Taker
were
had- yeah,
they were
there you
out
go.
there. They were
Sure.
out there with him.
Sure, he had his own thing. So they all came out to the ring, and then they showed a vignette, and then they were all gone. So they flew all these
Yeah.
people in for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not like they were out
there
there
was
with
no like,
him.
good job. There was no reminiscing at all. I remember when we.
Yeah, we thought it might be
Oh, and Santa was there. We can't forget Mick Foley looking ready, boy.
ready for the holidays.
He's
Yeah,
thinking more about Santa Claus jobs than he is about Undertaker's retirement at this point.
but then you had the big entrant. Oh, you had Vince McMahon.
He had Vince out there looking like death warmed over, barely being able to get out anything, but he did get out that Undertaker belt, that
He
one
did.
last Undertaker belt.
Yeah, introduced him out there. Big entrance scene, the music, the electricity, the smoke, the glowing light, and he comes and
Yeah, he
does
brought the smoke.
his.
How
Yeah,
about it?
hey, Street Profits probably loved it a lot.
I'm sure.
They comes out, does his 5-minute walkout, comes to the corner, he gets
It was
raised.
all walk. It was
Yeah.
all like literally. It took him 10 minutes to get to the ring. We all know
Yeah, it was about
it
5 minutes
probably
to
wasn't
do
on
his
purpose.
speech.
Now he gave 3-minute speech. He literally just came out and said,
and
"Good.
and 2 minutes
It's been 30 years."
and 2 minutes doing the pose, which the nicest thing out of the whole thing, other than his little speech and all the flash and glare that they did for him and all that, was when he dropped to his knee and he did his classic pose. They imposed like a holographic vision of Paul Bearer holding the urn like he did in all of his
That was the
matches,
best part of the
which
whole night.
was
really.
probably the nicest thing because Percy Pringle III, who was Paul Bearer, helped make the Undertaker character what it is. Yes, the Undertaker was in the matches, did all the stuff in the ring and all that, but Percy helped create that character, elevate him, especially early on when he didn't speak. He was the mouthpiece. He was part of that essence. And when you think Undertaker, you think Paul Bearer. And that, since he had passed away so many years back, it was nice that they wanted to give him the recognition that without Paul Bearer, maybe there wouldn't have ever been an Undertaker.
Yeah, Brother Love and $1 Million Man aside.
Yeah.
The coach never got involved.
No.
Do you remember the coach?
I think
Or
I
Mr.
remember.
Perfect. He was in there for a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan, he ain't gonna manage anymore. The coach now.
Yeah.
With his whistle, the coach.
Yeah. So we had
Mr.
so that
Perfect.
that was
the one wrestler that don't need a manager, I suppose, right? That's
No.
the coach.
Yeah, he's just
All right.
He was just excellent
So
as is. But that was pretty much the summary of the Survivor Series for this year, with the Undertaker's finishing or his farewell address.
And it's, with the exception of maybe a couple more Saudi Arabia dates. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
probably not the last thing. No Brothers of Destruction retirement either. Kane's got another one. He
Maybe
came out looking stronger than ever. Boy, he looked ready.
that I'm sure there'll be another time where
Looking
we'll
about
see
as
it
fit
as
as
that.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure down the road next year when they really need something to spice up the pay-per-view, they'll do a Brothers of Destruction retirement thing and all that.
And he's so lucky.
We'll
He's
see.
right on the mic.
Yeah, he is.
Eddie's body kind of has Dawkins. Is that his name? The Street Profits. They kind of have a similar.
Yeah,
D'Angelo with the
D'Angelo
tank top and
Dawkins.
the shorts.
Yeah, he does have.
Hey, it's not to say I wouldn't look like that if I didn't wrestle. I thought like worse than Otis. All right.
Everybody has their choice in
anyway,
ring gear.
It's funny. I like the way wrestlers look blue collar though now. Like I said, I was mentioning I like Otis and I like Kevin together like that. I mean, I like guys with bellies anyway. I really.
I know, but I actually liked Otis in the singlet a little more.
Oh, did you? Not the half shirts, the sexy time.
No, I don't want him trying to pull off the Kip Saban look.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit before we go about what happened in the week. Okay. On Impact, what did we do there on Impact?
Impact, we had the first match of the women's tag team title tournament. It was Havoc and Nevaeh against Tennille Dashwood and Alicia Edwards.
Who went over?
That one, it went to Nevaeh and Havoc. Havoc, if I remember right, did a tombstone on Alicia, pretty much ending that match. It was a good back and forth. Alicia, showed no fear going up against Nevaeh and especially Havoc. But she got caught, she got dropped, and Havoc and Nevaeh are the next ones to go up in the tournament bracket.
All right. The feud continues with Mac and Moose. Mac got knocked out. Moose pummeled him.
Yeah, it was no disqualification, no time
second
limit.
match now, right? Where Moose wins, but it's not because Mac gave up.
No, actually, when Moose hit him with his version of the spear, he climbed on top of him and he started driving elbows down onto the side of his head. And the referee pretty much stopped the match, saying he was unresponsive. But afterwards, Moose even kept beating on him until the referee managed to pull him off and get him away from him.
All right, we got the Good Brothers have the belts. There might be a feud there with Saban and James Storm. He's back now. He's with Saban until
Alex Shelley comes back.
Alex Shelley comes back and gets better. I'm hoping that maybe Eli Drake does come in now with NWA kind of being up in the air.
It's always a possibility. I mean, there's a lot of...
We know that America's Most Wanted can't come back because, what was his name?
Is Chris Harris.
Yeah, Chris
he was
Harris.
The Wildcat.
He kind of went to crap. Right?
Yeah,
From the last thing I know.
Yeah, we had a little bit of discussion when we were talking about the stuff with Impact and some of the guys.
Wouldn't it be nice if Bobby Roode came back and had Team Canada again with Stephen Moore?
Or even Beer Money? Who wouldn't love that?
Well, there's a lot of possibilities with these people coming back. There was even a rumor that I think Sting and Kurt Angle were like talking.
To the Impact?
That would have been fun.
You never know.
All right, well, the big one with Impact is the Rascals. They did retire.
Yeah,
Anything really to mention about this match?
It was a really good match. Back and forth. They were very emotional about it being the last one.
Yeah, they couldn't keep in the tears. It was genuine.
But they were professional about it. They, did their movesets on one another. It was great. You saw the Rascals getting in the face of Rich Swann showing the champion that he is, giving everything the Rascals had and giving back just twice as much. Trey Miguel was a great partner for him. They did great tandem maneuverings. The Rascals, Dez and Wentz, these guys, it was always a shame they never got the tag titles. Their movesets that they have and the chemistry that they have is always really good. But in the end, you end up seeing Trey Miguel and Rich Swann ended up beating Dez and Wentz afterwards. A lot of hugs, handshakes, appreciation for one another. You ended up seeing the Rascals take the jackets that they wore, place them on the rope, sort of like a thank you. We'll miss you guys. We love you, and we'll never forget what you all did for us, kind of thing.
And they'll be back in a year because NXT will waste them in a matter of months.
Probably 2 years, because we know nobody ever gets out with.
This
one
isn't
year.
the end. It's only the beginning.
Yeah, like a lot of people heard in the previous one, Alex Zane, and of course the Ben Carter guy who wrestled for AEW has apparently all agreed to be in the NXT's Performance Center. So you probably won't see them for about 6 more months before they first get their match, jobbing to somebody on NXT.
Main roster by Royal Rumble.
And if they get it to the main roster, they won't be used for another 2 months like they did with Chelsea Green.
If they get up to the main roster, they'll be coming out to the ring like PG-13 rapping for somebody else. They want to be used properly.
Right.
It'll be like the Bollywood boys. It'll be sad.
Yeah, there were in the Impact. There were a couple other little matches. We had Brian Myers against Crazy Steve, which Brian Myers ended up winning with a lariat. Hernandez and Fallah Bob with this story about Hernandez's money being stolen. Hernandez ended up being Fallah Bob with, of all things,
I think
a frog
Fallah
splash.
spent it, if you tell you.
No, actually, it was taken by Tasha Steelz. And
What's going on with Tommy? Is Tommy Dreamer getting down to the nitty gritty?
Well,
is the case wrapping up?
Well, he's supposed to be having some stuff with Father James Mitchell. So
That's nice. I like that.
hopefully that'll come to its conclusion here
Where's
in the next
Raven?
week or two.
Raven hasn't made his appearance yet.
No,
What about Raven? What about Raven?
Well, Raven, you saw him probably like a couple months back, but he's doing his own thing.
He has a podcast on MLW Network.
Oh, does he?
Yes,
Oh,
he
okay.
does.
Well, speaking of the MLW network,
Yeah, let's get into MLW. What a segue. MLW came back this week, and I gotta say, I think the Hart Foundation are out. I think they're leaving the Grey Cup behind.
yes,
Because
which
we're having another Grey Cup tournament, which is
Yes, we
nice.
are.
I honestly thought that Grey Cup was going to go with Harry.
well,
You know?
who knows? I mean, Harry's. I mean,
I think
maybe
he's
the
going to leave it there.
maybe. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. The main reason is because it was part of his
Right,
family's
right, that's the
heritage
thing.
and stuff. You know, they held on to
But
it.
maybe if they agree, maybe it's more about the honoring his family, and he'll.
It's
he'll
a
let them
possibility.
Do it. I mean, who else is going to use it? It's their thing.
Right.
You know, the AEW started the bunkhouse thing. You know.
True, but MLW, I mean, they only started doing the Opera Cup because of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and all that.
I don't know how over it is. Maybe it's really over with the fans.
It's hard to say. I mean, you never
Some
really
people
know.
like the cup stuff.
I don't mind. I always enjoy tournaments. There's always, good possibilities of seeing stuff. But maybe when Davey Boy Smith's contract at the end of this year comes up with MLW, he may take that Opera Cup and take it somewhere else.
Well, he's
there
taking
has
something.
there has
somewhere
been
else.
he has said and stated that a second go around with the WWE is not impossible,
Well,
but not a guarantee.
Wherever he goes, I don't think him or Brian Pillman Jr. are staying because their matches
Oh,
were
no.
very slow, very kind of like
Not
energetic,
overly
kinda like
not
going
overly
through the
exciting.
motions.
Yes. Yes.
Byron Reed,
Yeah, the Byron Reed, the middleweight champion, and Pillman.
which he's still the middleweight champion, but you had to think, especially after the layover and Byron having the belt for a year,
yeah,
that Pillman, the way he was being billed, he would have gone out.
you would have thought, but who knows? I don't know the exact amount of time left on Brian Pillman's contract. I'm assuming it's
Well, he already has 1 foot in AEW.
not too soon, but I
they
know
mentioned him even
he.
on Dark. They made fun of him.
Yeah,
Someone made fun of him. Who made fun of him?
his
His hairdo.
it's probably Taz. Taz likes to make jokes about everybody
Somebody
that's
made
not in
fun
the
of Brian
company.
Pillman with his mullet. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and so I know for sure that when Pillman's contract does come up with MLW, he'll more than likely sign with AEW. And if that's,
Oh, it was in Helico.
was it?
All right, we'll get to that. All right.
Okay.
Well, anyway, the MLW. Brian Pillman didn't go over. Byron Reed's still your
It's middleweight champ.
middleweight champion.
Fatu, he ended up.
Fatu in the ring. All right, go ahead. He looks fresh. He looks thin.
Actually,
down.
he looks a little slimmer from the last time when they actually had matches for
Yeah.
MLW, but he's still in really good shape.
Yeah,
and
his shape
did
has
real
really
well.
improved.
Yeah.
Now he's been over. Has he been over in Japan? What's he been doing since MLW's been on?
It's hard to really say. I can't really say that he probably was because of the airplane restrictions on
They did
flight
have
travel and
something
stuff.
leading into this match where he supposedly ambushed him over in Japan.
Supposedly, I think there was something about that. I'm really not totally sure.
Yeah, it
'cause
was like
I
he was
hadn't
in
really
the
kept up
staircase
with.
blood.
Yeah, I hadn't really kept up with like that kind of story stuff with MLW because it's been so long since they.
Well, that's
started.
pretty much what MLW was.
But yeah, so you had.
I mean, we had the Park faction, chiming in saying
Yeah,
that
they're gonna
be
come
around.
back, and they had their stuff about
And you had
Selena and her supposedly taking money from Contra and helping them out, and her getting suspended for doing that kind of stuff.
But I guess the big push, the big face push here is Hammerstone. He no longer
Yeah.
has Dynasty. His would-be partner is stuck in the Caribbean. He's the Caribbean champion. I didn't know this.
Well, technically, no, he's not. Richard Holiday stole the Caribbean champion from your favorite guy, Savio Vega.
Oh boy!
And
Savio is like the king, the Jerry Lawler over there. He's like
Yeah.
40-time Caribbean champion.
So he's the our king of the Puerto Rican wrestling,
Well,
right?
Yeah.
So, and then they did talk about
I guess Savio needed to drop
Gino.
it for a week.
They did talk about, I guess, maybe
Taker.
they did say something about Gino maybe coming, next week, maybe with their next set of tapes.
But Hammerstone is being pushed with kind of a new kind of strength. He's got the beard.
Yeah.
He's with the hammer, laying down the hammer.
Yeah.
He's definitely, you feel he's got a Thor vibe going.
Of all the matches.
It's more like Thunderstrike to me, that late 80s, early 90s Thor.
Yeah, it's his match against James Duggan was a quick, nothing, like 2-minute match.
No, it's definitely meant to just make him look totally legit. And
it was out of all of them. It was,
they have nobody else to
least
talk to at
interesting.
this point with Davey going. He's gone.
With how they have their staff and the
No Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
Now you do have the Von Erichs and Lawler. They weren't on the show, so I'm guessing
Right,
next week they're
you
saving
had them. Unfortunately, Eric Stevens, who was in Tom Lawler's little filthy group, he actually, I believe, about a couple months ago, stated that he was going to retire from doing wrestling, so he's not going to be part of it. You still have Daniel Goleri, and I'm assuming that there are a few other guys. Cotto Brazil, I believe his contract might have came up, so he might not be in the Injustice anymore. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, they're all going away now. They're probably.
But it seems like some of them are just waiting either till maybe they get a chance with another company or things get a little better with MLW. But we'll find out. We'll see. It's going to be a slow process with them since they're just starting out. And with another company that has been taking it slow when they began is Ring of Honor. They last Friday before this last one, they had a couple of matches like they've been doing, going slow. They actually had the Kenny King versus an old teammate of his.
Is he still the king of the nighttime world?
Well, he's the king of the all-night
Wasn't
express.
that his gimmick in Impact? He was the all-night king or whatever?
Yeah, it's because him and Red Titus were known as the all-night express.
Yeah,
So,
well, I guess, yeah.
but it was Kenny King against Shane Taylor, who...
I didn't watch any of those.
Yes. Shane Taylor used to be tag team partners with Keith Lee in the WWE back in their early days.
Yeah.
But Kenny King and Shane Taylor were once in a faction a few years back. The match was really good. They inherited with the handshake like they do in Ring of Honor. Started off playing with each other a bit until Kenny King fired off the first shot in Shane Taylor's jaw. They played around trying to swing and punch at each other instead of doing wrestling moves. Eventually, it finally did get into an actual match. There was some back and forth, Taylor using his size, being the bigger guy, Kenny using his agility and speed that he has. But when it came down to the end, Shane Taylor ended up catching Kenny King in his finishing maneuver, which is basically I don't know what he actually calls it for it, but it's a move. It'd be similar to what Rikishi used to do with the over the shoulder and like straight down, almost like a sitting tombstone, I guess, type move or shoulder breaker. It's hard to say what it's supposed to technically do, but he ended up winning in about 11-12 minutes.
And what about the Briscoes and SOS then?
The Briscoes, they faced Shane Taylor's associates, the Sons of Savagery, Moses and Khan. They too had jawed a lot, but they did adhere to the handshake of honor. It was a good match, hard hitting. The Briscoes gave everything that the Briscoes do to their opponents, and SOS managed to take a lot of their beating. Showed that they weren't going to just back down, that they weren't, just some ordinary tag team, that they were here in Ring of Honor to actually, prove themselves to whatever tag team it was. There was a little inside-outside stuff that went on. Mark and Jay Briscoe each did signature moves of theirs. But in the end, the Briscoes did beat SOS. And I think the most shocking part of it at the end was that they actually...
Kofi came out.
No.
SOS.
I know. But it's not that kind of SOS. It's something a little better.
All right. Well, hey, AEW. Let's finish off with AEW here.
AEW.
First on Dark. Let's talk about like the couple of things that happened on Dark. First off, Billy Gunn, his second son.
Colton.
So now the Gun Club is a trio.
Yeah, and if Colton and Austin end up tag teaming more often, and Billy sort of slides back a bit, they did the Guns actually did trademark Son of Guns or Son of the Guns or Sons of Guns.
And then we're
something
gonna
like
have the Son of a Guns versus TNT. Epic grudge.
that. Yeah, another brother.
Devon's boys and Billy's boys.
Yeah, so it should be.
I wonder if Billy's boys are ass men.
Who knows? But I know that Austin just recently got himself a nice big tat. Apparently, a big John Wayne fan. But I don't think we'll be hearing that tune coming out of AEW ever again.
Only Biscuits and Gravy and Gangrel Strut were better.
I'll give you the Gangrel one for sure.
Wow. What happened to him?
So
We were teased and nothing.
Hey, you never know. It is AEW. They do love to do that.
Okay, well, on Dark, the Britt Baker thing debuted with her little
Go ahead.
dentist office. So Britt Baker's first guest for the Hybrid 2. We had Evans and Angelico, and I love these guys. I love Angelico. I've started to like him ever since the Lucha Underground stuff when he was with Evilise and Son of Havoc.
Yes.
And they were those trios champions.
He
did those dives. And I think he has great personality. I think he needs to be given a lot more exposure.
Yeah, you know.
Came out, they were the ones that made the Brian Pillman.
Brian Pillman.
It's like, you give Brian Pillman more time, he's got a mullet.
Yeah, and
the
Angelico,
accent, I don't think he's from Britain. Isn't he from South America?
No. And Angelico
South Africa.
He's from South Africa.
South America.
But he trained under a legendary Mexican luchador who was very much into submission styles.
Lucha Underground connection.
Yeah, so he's very astute in the Mexican submission grappling style, which makes him very unique. And a lot of American style and Japanese ones aren't familiar with that kind of stuff, so it makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, that's why they're the hybrids.
You're right.
And you got the Jack Evans with the 20 years. He's pretty much the Jerry Lynn of AEW.
Yeah, Jack Evans has been pretty much the indie darling. This guy, I remember him in the early parts of his year, seeing him. I knew about his spine being very flexible to where how he does his pin maneuver with the
that was a great pin that he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
was that on Dynamite or Dark?
I believe that was a Dark against Christopher Daniels.
It was Christopher Daniels,
which was a very good match. But Jack Evans, I always wondered why he never got that chance in places like a WCW and so on. And it's nice to see that Lucha Underground was the first step for him to get into a place like AEW and to show what he can do. Because for a guy who's been doing it 20 years, to be able to pull off those flips and the high maneuvers that he can do, it's just a credit to his work ethic on keeping his body in shape.
And Britt seemed pretty comfortable with her segment there.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty relaxed, pretty natural. Making the wisecracks.
Which you're going to see this segment again on the next AEW Dark coming
I like
Tuesday.
this, that Dark is becoming more of like an NXT, more of like a second show. When Dark first started out, it wasn't really worth watching for me because it was kind of like the leftover last week's matches with nothing in between, nothing in it. But let's point out that the main thing on the Dark there, as far as storylines and reasons to watch, with the exception of Britt Baker being entertaining, is you got the Peter Avalon stuff.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Velvet Fog himself now.
Yeah.
The Continental.
Yes. If you aren't familiar, the segments that Peter Avalon's been doing is something I pointed out to Jason, that it reminded me of an old SNL skit back in the day. It was called The Continental.
With Christopher Walken.
With Christopher Walken, where it was him, entertaining entertaining and entertaining a lovely lady, where you only saw the white glove grabbing, and then him doing something where it upset, and it just goes to pot. So we've been seeing these segments because now Peter Avalon, not being the librarian anymore, he's now going by an old persona from back in his more indie days of pretty Peter Avalon. So,
And he's got a feud going. It's like some actual feud in AEW Dark.
Well, I mean, he's still anytime he's at ringside and Brandon Cutler's wrestling, he's sitting there on a big
I like Cutler's
satin
entrance thing. I
Yeah.
like his garb.
Peter Avalon will sit on a velvet bed that's out there
It's
booing
funny.
him and stuff. So they still have the dislike for one another and that. But I'm sure it's going to be a slow build with
Is
Peter
this
Avalon.
a pro shingle feud that's carried over to AEW?
No, not even close.
Pro shingle.
Before
Come on,
those
you
guys.
gotta support the pro shingle.
Not on your life.
All right. So anyway, Dark. That was pretty much the highlights of Dark. Getting into Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Really quick
They had a match for the NWA Women's Title, which is good because this was at least a beginning thing for storyline for the women's in AEW. Serena Deeb, the NWA champ, was defending against former champ that she'd beat about within the last month, Thunder Rosa. It was a good back and forth. Serena Deeb showed again her wrestling experience and skills doing the stuff that she does. Thunder Rosa coming out showing the fire, the intensity that
Fire and passion. Before Reba got involved.
Reba stuck her nose in, distracting the referee, allowing Britt Baker to come out, attack Thunder Rosa on the actual ramp, trying to cause a distraction and make it more impossible for Thunder Rosa to win. Thunder Rosa did make a bit of a comeback, but Serena Deeb did use a sort of hammerlock Styles Clash type maneuver, end up pinning Thunder Rosa, retaining the title. So we can see possibly a Britt Baker Thunder Rosa.
Well, yes, Thunder Rosa took it out on Britt. She was there ringside too. And
yeah,
she kind of flipped Britt over the guardrail.
Over the rail and attacked
she really started to wail on her.
Yeah, she was a bit ticked off. She was a bit ticked off about that.
Yeah,
but,
very much like Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, it should be an interesting match, and it's
that
nice to
belt
see that
is
story.
the same belt Mola had.
Yeah,
with a little picture in the front.
Yeah,
and that
belt has not changed in like 40,
that is
50
the oldest
years.
belt in existence right now because Big Gold is gone.
Yeah, well,
So-
the NWA Heavyweight Title one is
that's right.
also
Yeah, I mean,
up
we'll
there,
see where
up
the
there in
future is.
age.
You know, if NWA can't continue on its own, I say that Cody and AWA should adopt it and do something WWF tried to do and they failed. Remember in the 90s when Jeff Jarrett came in with the Rock and Roll Express and Cornette, and they had the NWA Championship, and it didn't go over. I think Barry Windham had a match with him on the.
I could see something like that. What I would like to see is
That
actually
could be their second championship. They could have the AEW Championship, the NWA, just like SmackDown and.
actually
Universal.
what I would like to see because of the stuff that happened at Full Gear, a lot of there's been a lot of talk that maybe AEW and Impact are going to have like a possible working relationship. Maybe something will happen there, like the discussion about could Impact and Ring of Honor have one. Now, NWA used to be connected with TNA at one point. They were a shared organization at a point. I wouldn't mind seeing possibly Impact taking on the NWA and using the NWA as the bridge point between Impact
And Impact has the
AEW.
NWA Championship with their title. Where's Moose fit in
Well,
with his TNA Championship?
instead of using the old TNA Championship, you could use the NWA's as like a heritage championship because it's one of, if not the oldest belt in wrestling. So it should have a special
Geezer
brand
belt?
place.
It'll be the Geezer belt.
I don't like to call it a geezer. A heritage one shows.
You know who's going to come out and get it? You know who's going to win it?
Who?
Oh, you know. You know he's due.
At age 70?
You know he's due. He was peaking. He was peaking before the COVID. He was peaking.
Well, yeah, him and his partner
Never looked better.
did win the tag titles.
Never looked
one more
better.
time. They looked fine.
Do you think there's a future for karate?
No.
No.
I know you.
The question mark is the greatest.
But anyway,
with his beard there.
we'll continue on with AEW.
Well, I mean, what was the segment there with the Inner Circle, the one to Vegas? That was a pretty big.
The Inner Circles bit with Vegas, it was very funny. It was
They
very
were all trying to outdrink. It was kind of like it was started out competing.
yeah,
and then it
grain
just
alcohol.
Started out, I love you. Elvis was there.
Yeah, you saw Elvis. You saw a guy who, if you hadn't noticed him before, who was a Brian Cage's brother when he was in Impact marrying his lovely, beautiful wife, Melissa Santo. He was Ryan Cage or something, I think it was. He was there. They all
That
got...
was Johnny Cage.
No,
He
was
did
it
the
Johnny
groin-
Cage?
He did the groin.
Whatever. But so you saw a big segment, and it was basically the Hangover version where they all end up, waking up in
Yeah,
a hotel
Elvis
room.
woke up next to Jericho.
Jericho
That
in
was
a bed.
hilarious.
They later stated that Elvis had joined the Inner Circle.
And it's funny, they were all like in a powwow before that. Like at the very end of the night, they were all
Oh.
saying how much they loved each other.
There was a funny little segment where Santana and Ortiz said that they knew a guy who had some good stuff, and you get to see AAA founder, Impact agent, and old managing buddy of Santana Ortiz, Conan, in there, where they not only drank alcohol but got high in a limousine.
Yeah, they walked out of the limo with the smoke. They brought the smoke too. Everybody's bringing the smoke too.
Yes, you saw Hager and Wardlow beating up random guys where they eyeballed each other.
They kind of have this thing in the bar where they were all going back and forth, and when it was Wardlow and Hager's turn to go back and forth, they were trying to outbeat
somebody. Show how tough they were.
Barfly.
Right, they're trying to prove how tough they were.
Right, because the other ones were trying to outdrink and outdo something else.
Right.
These guys were trying to out tough. The silliness.
But like we said, they end up in the hotel room, and Sammy Guevara's like sleeping in a fountain, and MJF is like somewhere like on a couch, and Santana's like somehow
didn't Sammy when he was waking up from the fountain, he's like, "You still suck."
Yes, I hate you.
You still suck.
Santana's in a room feeding chickens. Where he got chickens, I have no idea.
That was funny. He was like chipper, wasn't he? He was wide awake.
No.
That was that one.
That was Ortiz.
Oh, Ortiz was like, he didn't have a hangover at all. That
right, Ortiz, he was like Richard Simmons doing a workout.
It's like, this is what I normally do. So this
and Santana's just in a room throwing like chips or popcorn at chickens. Where he got chickens in Vegas, who knows?
Totally the hangover. Instead of the monkey, it's chickens.
Right, and then the last
the baby?
And the last little bit, you hear some kind of crying or whining, and what is it? It's Hornswoggle in a diaper in one of the rooms.
That's for the baby.
And
it was Hornswoggle in the diaper.
I'll
never get the image out of my head, Sessel.
I know, it's horrible.
The retina burns.
So that's how that little segment went.
I mean, Cody. With Taz's faction, Cody and
Darby Allin, they faced Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. Yeah. It was a good match. Darby Allin did a lot of his high risk maneuvers. Cody had a good back and forth with Ricky Starks. Brian Cage, of course, showed his power and strength along with a bit of his agility as well, with some of the moves that he had done. All in all, in the end, Arn Anderson did get kicked out of the match for throwing a chair in. Taz decided to leave the commentators, come to the ringside. When some of the chaos sort of happened, you saw Brian Cage do a drill claw off of like the second turnbuckle on Darby Allin, pretty much putting him down. Ricky Starks kept Cody at bay, and you see Starks and Cage end up winning. They go to keep beating on him, and then you see Will Hobbs come strolling out again with a chair banging around, drops a chair, picks up the FTW belt. Cody walks over to him to thank him, and Will Hobbs, of course, you could see this a mile away, hits Cody with the belt, joins Team Taz, and they all smile, and that's how the end of that match ended up going. So now Will Hobbs is a member of Team Taz along with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
And also, too, just on the last note, Pac made his return.
Pac did make his return because there were two other matches besides this one here. We had Pac going against Blade. Very hard-hitting. Pac showed that he didn't have a whole lot of ring rust. He was still very sharp. Blade did have a large Band-Aid across his forehead from the gash that he got during the bunkhouse match. There was some
from a carrot that the bunny stabbed.
Probably, maybe, or possibly one of the latter.
She takes that mask off now, like right away. It's like she can't stand wearing it.
Oh, it's a big, awkward-looking mask. It's not like the one she wore when she first came in.
All right.
But Pac did come in. He did get the advantage. He didn't hit his Black Arrow move, but he did hit a shooting star press and then got him in the Rings of Saturn. Did beat Blade. After that happened, he went to go and talk a little smack over at Eddie Kingston. Got blasted by the Butcher. Eddie started to come in. They were having fun, slapping around, talking down to him. Phoenix came out, attacked him. Blade, Butcher attacked Phoenix. Eddie egging them on, and then we see Penta come out with a chair, not knowing whether he's going to lay out his own brother and, keep going with the others, or if he was there to tell Eddie, I'm not as stupid as you think I am.
They're doing the right thing, though.
And they did. He wasn't going to beat on his brother. He actually was going after Blade and Butcher and pretty much told Eddie, yeah, we might be friends, but he's my brother. and Death Triangle ended up reforming.
Mm-hmm.
Which a lot of people have been speculating. There's been a lot of three-man groups starting up because the speculation next year is that AEW is coming out with a trios title, which hopefully will be interesting. It'll be some new little angle to put out there besides just having a lot of tag matches and the occasional singles or ladies match. We can
It'll go to the Gun Club.
It'll actually be another dimension, which they can be a member of it, But
they'll be the only ones.
But we did have a couple other matches that were both very good. Kip Sabian against Orange Cassidy, which that had to deal with Orange Cassidy and Penelope Ford's interactions in previous matches. This was a really good match. Orange doing his typical Orange, trying to get under the skin of Kip Sabian. Orange Cassidy shows that he's a really good wrestler, has a lot of skills. If anybody's never seen him, you really should. Kip Sabian, also great high flyer, has great maneuvers, very entertaining. Muro at rings, at the commentator booth, putting his 2 cents in, maybe. But
yeah, it's fantastic. Tetris.
But in the end, Orange Cassidy did get Sabian with a small package maneuver that he's used on multiple opponents to win.
Mm-hmm. And the best friends came out.
Miro, but not before Miro did come in and attack Orange Cassidy and got a cheap shot on him before they were run off by best friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see that continue to go on with them.
And what was the other match? Was it the Young Bucks? Bucks one?
Yes, it was the Young Bucks against Top Flight, another brother pair. These two fellas, they came from the Minnesota area, both around 19 and 21 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. We've seen them on Dark a couple of times before. Actually, one of the brothers, the older one, messaged one of the Bucks about wanting to come to AEW, whether it would be Dark, to show what they could do, and got the response. They came here because the Bucks wanted to see how they were. They saw what they could do on Dark, so they gave them a non-title match. This match was fast-paced. The Top Flight brothers, they did a really good job putting the Bucks off at the beginning of the match, sort of threw them off their game plan. Mm-hmm. But the Bucks, being the more experienced brother duo, started getting the upper hand, back and forth, inside, outside. You saw the dives over the top ropes, and it's amazing that these guys don't get hurt more often with some of the jumps that they do over landing on the ground with the.
Well, they're made out of rubber.
Apparently, but
they're like Tiggers.
But the brothers of Top Flight came very close to beating the Bucks with a combination move. But in the end, the Bucks showed that they were the AEW champions, knew that they had to be very quick about getting a double team to get the pin, and they did the double V trigger, the BET trigger, as like they call it, and they defeated Top Flight, I'd probably say in a good 15, 20-minute match. So Top Flight, I believe, did get signed by AEW too, probably after that match. So we'll probably see them a lot more.
Was there interference in that match?
No interference whatsoever. It was just a good, straight-up tag team match, and it showed a good young brother team who I think has got a very good future. And if they're with AEW for a good while, who knows? Maybe they might get their chance at the titles. And if they do, I hope it's against the Bucks, because it was a very entertaining match, and I enjoyed it.
Well said. All right, looking forward to Raw tomorrow.
As much as I was looking forward to the Survivor Series.
I'm looking forward to a condensed version on Tuesday morning.
Yes. It's understandable. Commercial
90 minutes is all I can take.
Yeah, 3 hours is tough, especially with the commercials.
I recommend everybody out there get Hulu and watch 90 minutes.
It'll save you a lot of time.
I don't know who can put up with 3 hours of Raw, especially seeing as it starts at
8 o'clock until 11, until just about 11, yeah.
Oh, well.
You get the Hulu one, get the 90 minutes, and then you can go and search on websites like Fight TV for other wrestling content.
Yeah, Impact. So Tuesdays,
Tuesdays as well, yeah. So I mean, you could have a full day of wrestling, and you be really entertained because you'll get a whole different group between Dark, Impact, and the Raw's version on Hulu. And you can even, if you miss the previous Ring of Honors on the Friday, you can watch it on Fight TV as a replay. So, I mean, you could have a whole day of just wrestling and enjoy yourself.
Or you can get the WWE Network and watch 80s wrestling.
If you're into it, I know you are.
Still makes sense to me. All right, so that's it, huh?
Yep, that will be this week's review of the Survivor Series and our wrestling in general across the board.
All right. Make sure you guys click on that like button and subscribe.
Hit the notifications too.
Yeah, we're here every week, Wrestling Figure Forum. We're going to try to do this on Sunday nights after pay-per-views. Regular night, though, will be Friday. So Friday nights, except for pay-per-view weeks, we will extend the week to that Sunday night. So this coming Friday will be the next episode.
That's right. So stay tuned. Keep watching the shows.
But we do kind of go on during SmackDown, so
yeah, we won't be able to cover that, but you could always have us
Our
going
laws.
on. You can always have us going on your laptop and have the SmackDown on your television at the same time. We don't mind sharing your attention. So, hey.
we'll garner about as much of it.
But don't forget to leave a comment if you have anything you want to say to us or want us to talk about that we might have missed. So,
For Sessel and Jason, happy trails, y'all.
you have a good day.
Bye now.